concerned about government overreach here, using fear to control, and most importantly, in this case, the cruelty of closing restaurants. What the timing is here, right before Thanksgiving. And, you know, Governor Newsom himself is in quarantine because of an exposure of his family. I wish him well, but a lot of people can't afford the kind of quarantine he has. And Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles says he wants the bubble to be as small as possible, the bubble. Well, your bubble can't afford to be small unless you can afford it, really afford it, the way that his family can. And I want to point out some statistics that come out of our local Fox Bureau tonight, which is shocking. LA County has said that there's 204 hotspot areas they're concerned about, but less than 3% of those are restaurants and bars. Tucker, you know what's more than 7%? LA County buildings, government buildings, are more than twice the problem.
Want to get it off your chest? Call the Dave Weinbaum Show. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real, and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? You're in the right place. Heard in 50 states and 98 countries, we just put 11 years of radio excellence into the can. Now, in our 12th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is on the air. Understand the passion and incredible sacrifice and danger faced by our valiant healthcare workers. They are in my prayers and our heroes. However, creating mandates that are unscientific, duplicitous, and unconstitutional is not the answer. Our churches and synagogues, mosques, must not be tampered with. Our businesses must not be shuttered. And our very homes not open for inspection, ridicule, and mandate. Not all of this was in the mandate from Rolla City Council, but there's ample evidence that the original 15-day lockdown, way back when, has turned to just what I described and more. The reaction from the Supreme Court, just like midnight of Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, against the dictate by Governor Cuomo of New York, put an immediate stop to the limiting of worship sites, while our city government, Rolla, seems like they want to help. They've opened the door by setting a precedent to future attacks on our businesses and churches. You know, the Pilgrims originally came here. They left their homes so they could have the freedom to worship as they pleased. Americans are peculiar people. Most of us know the horrors of our families in socialist, communist countries. We know what submission to draconian measures will bring. If Rolla's mandate were a guide on what to do, there wouldn't be the uproar. But it's a mandate. Pretty soon, our governments will be supporting the lunacy of defunding police, opening our borders, and tearing down our military while letting the world dictate the policies of America while stealing our money. And then there's the closing of our schools. Children who get this have a 99.9% recovery rate. But their lives have been retarded. They've been restricted by school closings. Relationships with other children must be endorsed. Us old folks, and I am one, who are most vulnerable must protect themselves. Americans have fought wars to guarantee our rights and have fought and died to maintain our beautiful Constitution, the longest surviving document of that kind in history. Americans believe that we live free or die. Or am I wrong? Hi there. Happy day after Thanksgiving. My name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm your radio talk show host. And I'm here with producer J.P. Maxwell. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was very good. How was yours?
It was very good. Excellent. And I think my wife worked her butt off so hard she's late. Okay.
Sleeping a little bit is.
That's all right. I won't dock her. I'm not going to dock her. And I have no idea who's on the phone, if anyone. But let's play his song just in case.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can
all over the place.
Singing,
we will rock you.
Bring on that rock
and roll. I think I heard it. How about that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, a man who is 252 years old, who was here way before Thanksgiving even occurred. I believe that was under Lincoln that took place. A man who has so much room under his tinfoil hat he could rent it out to the U.S. government. Please welcome none other than J.J. Bradshaw. There you go. J.J., can you sift through what's under that tinfoil hat and give us some wisdom?
I will share what little wisdom I have with you.
You're so modest.
You mentioned a lot of stuff about Rolla. I'm sure we're going to hear that from Mayor Magnus.
Mayor Magnus going to be on the show. How about that?
Yep, I'll be listening. On the national note, there is still hope for Trump prevailing on this thing. Sidney Powell is turning into a star here. She has filed federal and state lawsuits against Georgia. And I have read that, and there are 30 allegations in there, some of it centering around Dominion software. And, the MSM has been saying, well, these are allegations, but she doesn't have any evidence. Well, you're not going to give your evidence up to the media in any case, but apparently she has documents from people that outline some things in the Dominion software that allow manipulation. And in one case, internet-connected Dominion software during the election, which is strictly taboo. These are supposed to be standalone servers and not open to the world. In reading that, if she can prove even half of what she alleges, and she claims she can, that should be enough right there to hit the pause button. Now, sadly, our judicial system under Obama has been politicized, and whether she can actually get this past the swamp creatures or not remains to be seen. I'm sure Elad will have some things to say about that, and I'll be listening for that as well.
Yes, he'll be up next. He'll be up next, and Sidney Powell. That's an interesting story in and of itself, because she seems like she was she was cut from the Trump team.
I don't understand.
I don't understand why. There's a side story to that. Has to be. But I took this lawsuit and I started reading it, and I just didn't have time to read it all. But it looked like it was solid stuff.
The reason the Trump team has distanced themselves from her is she has to be able to operate independently she's one of the few lawyers around that
Okay.
is military qualified, and they may be going for treason in some of these cases.
Yeah.
In that case, that's a military tribunal, and she can represent the Trump campaign under that.
And by the way, Elad's going to be up next, 10 o'clock. And then I got the Mayor Magnitz, who's going to opine on what happened Monday night and a few other things I'm going to ask him. And we got Laura Loomer coming on, too. How about that? This is a pretty good show for a day after Thanksgiving. You know, most of the people are rehearsing their leftover menus on Fox and all these other stations. We got a solid show today, baby.
Well, you know, I thought last week's show was probably one of the best you've done.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you.
This may exceed it.
Well, we're working on it. Every week we try to do the best we can and have the best show we've ever did.
In Pennsylvania, we've got a Pennsylvania judge that has temporarily blocked certification of the votes. And here's why. Apparently evidence was presented to him that there were 1.7 million ballots sent out by mail and 2.5 million ballots returned.
Yeah.
And how is this possible? Well, it's fraud, and this smells like fraud. It looks like fraud. Quacks like a duck, probably a duck. So there is some hope there, I think, for freedom to actually return to our country. Last thing I got is Trump's pardoning of Flynn, and that may be the biggest story for this last news cycle. Judge Emmett Sullivan has been dragging his feet for months after the DOJ chose to drop charges, and Sullivan decided to proceed on his own, which is not unheard of in legal circles, but it's rather unusual. And Trump finally pulled the plug on that and said, look, you guys have been crapping on this fellow for years. It's time to make this right. So Michael Flynn has been pardoned. The howling that came from the radical left as a result of that was about what you could expect from them. This is a travesty of justice. This is un-American, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Same stuff we've come to expect from these clowns. So I was very thankful yesterday to live in a country that still has some shreds of freedom left in it. And I think the Patriots are going to win in the end.
Well, but they got to do things like you. They got to talk about it. They can't lay back and retire out of this. They've got to protect our youths out there because right now their growth has been mentally and physically retarded by what's going on with these schools, and we got to stop that. These kids are our future. Okay, they're the future of this country. We got to have them as sharp and as tough as possible.
I agree completely with that, Dave. And one last zinger on the conservative Republicans, and I certainly am one. I have a bumper sticker on my truck that says extremely right wing, and I am.
Okay.
The swamp Republicans are strangely silent on all of these issues. And one would think that they would stand behind President Trump because there's so much at risk here. But they are quiet now. Josh Hawley is, from our state, of course, is an unusual break with that rule. He is standing up. He is saying what needs to be said. Roy Blunt, on the other hand, who is a swamp creature and has been for many years, has been strangely silent on this. I went on his website, took a look, and he didn't have anything to say.
Nah, he's sitting it out. You know, what are you wasting the air?
Longevity in the Senate, but it's not so good for our country.
He's wasting our air. He's living off the system, and he's not producing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about with the mayor. I want people who are going to opine. I don't care what position they're in. I speak from experience. I always opined from a position of being a president on various organizations with McDonald's, co-ops and things of that nature. And then even after I was termed out, I would run the meetings. They would have the meetings. I would run them. I'd get it to a motion somehow, but I never would. I would always opine if I thought it was necessary. I wanted people to understand what I thought, and I didn't give a damn what they thought of me. Who cares?
Well, Dave, one of the reasons I like listening to you and contributing to your show is you don't sugarcoat this stuff. You tell it like it is, and Lord, we need more of that in this country.
Well, I really try to. I mean, and it really is good that I have other people like yourself on this show who will talk about things that may be controversial, that takes a little chutzpah to get out in the open. You don't ignore stuff just because they're uncomfortable.
Well, yes, political correctness, I'm afraid, has caused us to be silent about way too much, and I refuse to be silent anymore.
Well, you're the man. Hey, thank you. You got anything else under the tinfoil hat? I never want to cut a man with 252 years experience short.
Nope. Dave, I've said what I needed to say. God bless you. Love your show.
Well, God bless
Keep
you
up the
too,
good
and
work.
thank you for being the opening act on the Dave Weinbaum Show. I think he deserves a little applause. Thank you. Thank you. That's 2 applauses so far. And we have another one. Have a great weekend, my friend. And we have another reason to applaud, and that's because Lisa Strausser Weinbaum has sauntered into the room with, gaining our, ever-loving, well, in my case, ever-loving, but gratitude for her just, being here. Isn't that wonderful? Hi, honey.
I am hysterically hurrying to get here.
I
came all the way
hysterically
down, and then I went all the way back home.
Did you break any laws or anything like that? Speeding laws?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, we don't want to. That's not going to hold up in court.
I forgot all my devices.
You forgot your devices?
All of them.
I'm right here. What are you talking about?
No, you're a tool.
I'm all you
You're
need.
a tool, not a device.
Oh my God. Oh no. Don't encourage that. All right. Just remember this: bald men are hard to brush off. That's terrible.
Did you get your fly zipped?
You know what? That's. Oh, jeez. Wait a minute. Wait.
You didn't. You promised me.
Again. I know, but my shirt was blocking it anyways. Who cares? I can't believe that happened. That's happened a couple times. I'm getting old.
Well, and to think we might have video coming in eventually on this show,
I
too. I
know. Well, more reason to watch. What the hell? Oh, yeah, we got to watch the old man, see whether or not he's put his clothes on right. And I wonder if he's going to do the show in his underwear. No, I am not Joe Biden yet. And I hopefully never. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about the show. I think I have already, but we just had J.J. Bradshaw. We got Rabbi Moshe Rothschild coming up. Great interview. What's going to happen to Israel if we have a Biden administration and they start things, like the Iran deal again, where Israel is going to be put on the cusp again for survival. Of course, they've always been that way, and you're going to hear that from the rabbi. Elad Hakim, we're going to do, this is a great time to have him on the show because of all the legal stuff, and, we want to talk a little bit about Sidney Powell. And that lawsuit in Georgia, I want to get him to analyze that somewhat. And then after that, we got Mayor Lube Magnitz from Rolla. Just had a very, very controversial mandate passed that was adopted by the county as well almost overnight. And we're going to be talking about that. Hopefully this will be a really live, good interview, and we'll get a lot of information from the mayor. And then we got Laura the Luminator Loomer. 2 weeks in a row. She's on a cusp of doing other stuff. I'm using that word too much. Cusp. I don't even know what the hell it means, but it sounds like a good word.
It's a good word.
Yeah, it's a good word. She's on the verge, on the edge of doing other stuff now. I wonder if her race was stolen too in West Palm Beach County down in Florida.
I didn't know a whole lot about that till she came on last week, but the way she described everything,
yeah,
it sounds like it's pretty consistent with what we've seen on the national scale. So I'm curious.
It'll be interesting, and the whole press down there was just lying their asses off about her as well as her.
We know the media doesn't lie about stuff. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Or they just don't cover it either.
Come on. I don't think you're correct in that. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Adolph, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Adolph.
Oh, what a guess. Hi. I'm standing up right now. I can see the phone number, so I understand. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Adolph, to you and Joanne. I know you guys wished us one for us yesterday, so I'm now responding. It was a little busy yesterday.
Wasn't too bad a day.
Yeah. Oh, it was a beautiful day yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, the day was gorgeous. Joanne was kind of irked at me, but that's okay.
She was what?
Irked. Mad.
Well, she's got cause. You know she's got cause. I don't even know what the hell it is.
I understand that. She said something about spending the whole day using a broom in the house. And I said, well, when you got to go outside and go somewhere, you got to take the car.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Are you stealing my jokes? Well, that's my joke. When there was like 2 feet of snow on the car when I lived in Jeff City for a while, and I had to be in Cuba in like an hour. And my then wife and I were looking at the car. She says, "You want to borrow my broom?" I says, "Yeah, but you're going to have to teach me how to fly it first." She thought that was funny. I can't say nice things about any exes, you see. But that particular moment, I have to say she thought it was funny.
What do you think of the Georgia election?
I think the Sidney Powell case is very interesting. She's got half the proof, even a quarter of the proof she says she has, and alludes to in her filings to the court. Georgia might be an emblem of this thing getting to the Supreme Court. If they run out of time, the Supreme Court might take over. And that ruling against the New York Governor Cuomo, that he dictated that churches would be 25%, while probably strip joints and other places, you could have Walmart had no restrictions. They reversed that 5-4, and that was Amy Coney Barrett's vote. That was the deciding vote right there. So if this thing goes to the Supreme Court, and I think you got the announced majority right now, I think it could go.
The whole thing could just turn out to be what it's supposed to be,
Well, I think Democrats are getting a little scared
Trump
now.
would have won the election.
It's not would have he won the election.
Allowing mail-in ballots, Trump would have been elected.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about that.
Whatsoever.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that with Elad Hakim coming up. He'll be coming up at 10. Yeah, about all the other things that are, well, you could call them collateral information, but I'm looking at things like, how did we get 22 million votes more than the 2016 election? How did Barack Obama get like 20 million less votes than Sleepy Joe? Couldn't draw a crowd to save his life. Obama, you got to say this, he drew crowds. He was boring as hell, but crowds came out to see him.
The other thing about Obama,
he's
running this show. He's running a Democrat show.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only president that hasn't moved out of Washington yet. He's a mile away from the White House.
Yeah.
Tell me that's a coincidence, huh?
Yeah. What can you say?
Yeah. All right, what else you got?
I'm going to let you go. One quick question.
Yeah.
What rock group has 4 guys in it who don't sing?
Let's see. What rock group? That would be. I know this. Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, there you go.
How about that? Oh my God! Wait a minute. You're not done yet. You are not done yet. I didn't get the part of reciting the alphabet. I couldn't find my cue. Thank you, Adolph. Oh, he laughed. I don't care about your stupid crickets. He laughed. All right, thanks, buddy. Hi to Joanne. Again, have a great weekend.
I threw away your broom.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Enough. Have a nice weekend. You want to call the show, be a star on the Dave Weinbaum Show. Like I say, we don't phone it in, folks. It's we're not going to sit here and do recipes, although I will say that my wife did a great job of cooking Thanksgiving yesterday and had limited help. Of course, we have to thank Peggy, who's a friend and also works helping clean the house at times. And she's a friend, though. She comes over and she helps Lisa with cooking. You did a lot of cooking on Wednesday, a lot of prepping.
Yes.
And Matt's Steakhouse for the wonderful cheesecakes.
Absolutely.
Oh, were those good?
Thank God we got rid of all that.
What do you mean you got rid of it? You got rid of it? You gave it all away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of told you to. I got to admit that.
It's
I can't
addictive.
lie.
It's addictive.
It is.
You cannot be near us.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, let's play. While we've got the time, the rabbi's coming up, but I don't have to have him exactly at 9:30 because why? I've already got the tape of the interview because he can't do Sabbath anymore. And in Israel, if we were to interview him now like we normally would, he couldn't do it because he'd be disobeying the Sabbath. Right. Now, you got to admire these religious Jews. They are really, really tough on themselves, but this is how they were brought up. In another life or in another country, I probably would have been brought up like this too. I just can't go back to that right now. I can't figure it out. I play golf on Friday or Saturdays and stuff, and I do pray, and I pray God's got a place for me. It might not be with guys like the rabbi, but I do pray that I'm doing at least some things right in His guidance, as I'm sure many of you do. Anyway, let's play number 2 and 3. How's that?
You know what the problem is? It's staffing. It's not even customers. So if you're a customer that wants to go to a restaurant in Los Angeles on Wednesday or Thursday, you can't do it, even with outdoor dining, as you pointed out, even at a time when it's 63 degrees today in Los Angeles. You can't afford to eat outdoors. And it's poor people we're talking about here because the very few cases that you've seen of COVID-19 are occurring in Domino's or in Taco Bell or in McDonald's or in Burger King or in Domino's Pizza. That's who's affected here, not some beautiful gourmet restaurant governor in Napa Valley that could send you all the food you want to eat. So on Thanksgiving, restaurant owners were asked by a local reporter, what are you going to do, Tucker? And many of them said, we're going to close and we're not going to be able to reopen. And guess what we have here? We've got plenty of food for Thanksgiving. We have turkey, we have dressing, we have stuffing for everyone that was going to be here. So my message from Mayor Garcetti tonight is this. Mayor, please reconsider closing the bars and restaurants in Los Angeles.
I told you about Sidney Powell, the former federal prosecutor, and her claim that roughly 7 million votes were secretly changed on election night by rigged vote counting software. Well, in the last 24 hours since we did that, we've heard from a lot of people about that segment, including people in the White House and people close to the president. Like us, they have concluded that this election was not fair. Like us, they are willing to believe any explanation for what happened. Like us, they have not seen a single piece of evidence showing that software changed votes. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It might have happened. It means they haven't seen any evidence that it happened. And by they, we are including other members of Donald Trump's own legal team. They have not seen Powell's evidence either. No testimony from employees inside the software companies, no damning internal documents, no copies of the software itself. So that's where we are. Sidney Powell came on Fox this morning and suggested we may not have to wait much longer. I fully expect, she says, that we will be able to prove all of it in a court within the next 2 weeks.
Well, okay, she's done it. She's got the case in front of the Georgia courts. I'm not sure if that's a circuit court, a federal court, or whatever. But it's not only that; she's pretty much indicting the top leadership of the Georgia government, including Governor Kemp. These are Republicans. And she's also alluded to kickbacks. Now, I didn't get through the whole document, but if you, I believe I have it on my show page, right? Don't I? I'm pretty sure I put it on my show page or my regular Facebook page.
Which document?
It's a document. I don't know if I put it there, so I put it there, not you. I put it there. You wouldn't have time. It's a document that is the court case for Sidney Powell. So you could, click on Dave Weinbaum, the Dave Weinbaum Show page, or just look at my Dave Weinbaum Facebook deal. I tried putting it on Twitter, and Twitter blocked me on it. What do they got? It's a court case. How can Twitter block me on a court case? I mean, they can have somebody opinionate and say, well, we don't think this is true, but just to outright censor me? Still doing it, folks. Still doing it. Okay. And so that seemed like a pretty good lawsuit to me. It seemed like she had evidence. She's got witnesses, people who will attest to all this. And I think eventually it's going to get up to the Supreme Court. And I think we have some hope. As of a couple days ago, you could still bet on Trump winning the election, and you'd get 30-1 odds against it. But they're still taking bets in England. How's that? That's incredible, isn't it? All right, you want to call the show 573-578-2700. To get it off your chest. And now I think we need to take a trip to Efrat, Israel, just south of Jerusalem. Hit it.
Yeah, 1 second, Dave. You were talking to another rabbi? Sounds like you're cheating on me.
No, actually, I'm cheating with you on him because he was the first rabbi. Listen to this. I got rabbis fighting over me. This is kind of weird. Ladies and gentlemen, second most powerful person in Israel and his own home, according to his wife, Yonit, future rabbi to the Trump Third Temple Hotel, Golf Course, Casino, and Spa, and the official rabbi to Missouri and the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome all the way from Efrat, Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Woo-hoo. So you forgot to pay the phone bill, huh?
No. Actually, if you must know, I switched my phone plan on my cell phone, and then I can't call America from my cell phone, so I had to go find the other phone. But
all I got to say to that is, oy vey. Hey, my friend Netanyahu, meeting with Crown Prince of Bahrain, and is getting very close to Saudi Arabia, coming in on the Abraham Accords. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really incredible that it just keeps each week, getting further and further. Now with the Prime Minister going to Bahrain, and I think a lot of it, Dave, has to do with the fact that they're starting to see that it's. There's a very, very slight chance that Trump will remain as president, and they're trying to do as much as they can to cement these relationships with the U.S., with Pompeo here in the region, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, do you think Joe's going to try to blow this up? Really?
I think it would be very dumb if he did, because it's a really good path, but he might face a lot of pressure from the left wing of his party, and with all the question marks about his health, he may not be able to stop the tidal wave, of anti-Israel sentiment.
Well, Biden appointed a Jew, Tony Blinken, to be Secretary of State, and Rashida Tlaib warns him not to get in her crusade to destroy Israel.
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, that was an incredible tweet, and the fact that she wasn't censured by her party for that, I mean, it's just outrageous that she could be allowed to say something.
Have you
like
heard
that.
anybody Have you heard anybody in the Democratic Party criticize that?
No, not a peep. I mean, can you imagine if Biden had appointed an African American to be Secretary of State, and she said, as long as as long as we can go keep criticizing all the black leadership, I'm okay with him being there.
Exactly.
It's like just outrageous.
So now Netanyahu is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and I hope he doesn't strike out like Trump.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I hope not. Look, the world puts him and Trump, in the same boat. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets rejected. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, there's been, and I know, and any fair-minded person knows that there's more advances towards peace in the last 12 months than there's been in the last 25 years.
No, I need to correct you on that. In the last probably 3,000 years.
Yeah, no, I'm going back to say, 1994 when we signed a treaty with Jordan 26 years ago.
No, this is more dramatic than that. I think even and Egypt as well. This is biblical.
Right. It is unbelievable that Donald Trump did not win a Nobel Prize for his hand in what's going on here. It's just stunning to me.
I hear all the kids are back in school. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, well, actually, there's still part of some are not, and they're going to be going back, I think, next week. But, yeah, what can we do? Kids got to go to school. And if it spikes again dramatically, I'm sure there'll be a shutdown. But I think, my feeling is the end is in sight. You have 3 different vaccines out there now that they'll start, administering, I imagine, sometime in the spring to healthcare workers, the elderly. So I think the end is in sight.
Well, I hope you're right. You don't seem to have as much trouble with your government mandating stuff over you than we do in this country. Isn't that interesting?
You know what? We're more used to things like that. Like, for example, when you vote, you got to show up with an ID, and they have your address, and it's got to match. And we have a national ID card, and we have a mandatory military service.
Yeah.
So the government's very much in your lives. And it's for Corona, for example, if you leave your house, they send the police. They monitor your cell phone to see if you left the house when you're under quarantine. I don't know if in America that'd be invasion of privacy.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm saying there's a big difference between Israel and the United States.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Hey, as Iran forces attack Saudi oil facility, will Biden go back to the Iran deal in the face of the success of the Abraham Accords?
Well, already Netanyahu has been speaking up and quite publicly urging Biden not to go back to how it was before Trump took office under the Biden administration. And look, I think he's definitely going to try to change course back to that, and it's very worrisome. That is exactly why Netanyahu had this secret meeting in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And he went with Pompeo because they were discussing Iran.
Did he actually meet with the Saudi prince?
He did.
Because it was downplayed that he didn't, that there was somebody else, or it was a phone call or something.
No, he went with Mike Pompeo.
Okay.
And probably it seems that the main topic of discussion was Iran. And I would imagine a big part of that discussion was, well, if there's going to be a change in administration, now what? How's Israel and Saudi Arabia going to align against Iran? and maybe even standing opposite the U.S., and I think these are serious concerns. Look, there's talk that Trump is going to strike Iran before the end of his term.
Okay. You never know what he's going to do. I mean, it's interesting. And he's also going to pardon General Flynn. Anyhow,
I saw that also. Yeah.
Canadian Muslim cleric calls Jews the brothers of monkeys and pigs. So, which one are you? Are you from the monkey or pig line?
Pigs, I have to say.
What's that?
I think monkeys are much cuter than pigs.
Yeah, but they do a lot of nasty stuff too, like pigs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that doesn't surprise
your
you,
son
does it?
Aaron? They have pigs on their farm, little farm. They have
I know
there.
they got pigs. My Jewish Christian family, grandchildren and such, have pigs, and they have ducks. They used to have goats. They used to have lambs. So
Wow.
it's a real farm out there. Hey, guess who's going to be Secretary of Defense?
Secretary of Defense, Dave Weinbaum?
If only. Hillary Rodham Clinton.
No way.
Yeah,
What?
that's what I heard today. Hillary Rodham Clinton. I misspoke.
No freaking way.
Yeah, oh well. Hey, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute to you?
Well, Dave, I'm excited to say they can go to our brand new website, just launched yesterday. It's same address, IsraelAlliance.org. We launched absolutely stunning website, and I urge everyone, even if you're not going to donate, just to go take a look at it. It's an amazing site, beautiful site. We're still working, adding more, but that's where they can go.
You know, Rabbi, I caught a little wren that got in the house. Lisa didn't believe me. So you know what I did?
No.
I gave her the bird. I gave her the bird. There you go. Anyhow, you would never do that, but I gave her the bird. What can I tell you? All right, Rabbi, thank you so much for being a star, royal star to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Rabbi Moshe Rothschild, all the way from Efrat, Israel. Shabbat Shalom, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, do you celebrate that?
No. We did when we were in America, but not here.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, guys, take care.
Yonit and the
Shabbat
kids.
Shalom. Bye-bye.
All right, God bless. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Am I back? You know, having a guy like that on, he's a good friend too, I mean, when he comes here to speak or on his way to other American places, churches and synagogues, I wonder if I would think pretty soon, maybe with this Abraham Accord, if Biden doesn't ruin it, he might be going to a mosque or two. Why not? Most of these countries are very much more Muslim than anything else in the Mideast. So, it's amazing what's happened. I mean, it's biblical, as I said in the interview with the rabbi.
Yeah, and Moshe is the type of rabbi that would go somewhere like that. I mean, he's open to all those things, at least from what I see of him.
I mean, we went to East St. Louis, entirely black church, one of the oldest churches in that area, like 120 years old, and they accepted us. They accepted us, and Rabbi got to speak, and by mistake, the rabbi thought that I was a pastor, and your mother was sitting there. She was the pastor. I didn't want to cause any trouble by saying, no, she's the pastor. But when I told him, well, I'm Jewish too, I think he said something like, whatever. No, he didn't. He was a good guy, and he gave the service over to the rabbi, and the rabbi just hit it out of the ballpark. This is a rabbi who I guarantee has never been in a black church before. I think this was the first time. No, this is the second time I've been in a black church. There's a black church down by in Dixon that I went to. And I was friends with one of the pastors who used to work for me, and he invited me to his church, and so I went, and it was very, very interesting, to see how they're very spiritual in that church, and very spiritual in, I would gather in all churches, but especially black churches, real spiritual. I mean, that's where gospel singing came from, didn't it? I could be wrong.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear about the gospel singer who got fired?
Uh-uh.
She got caught taking home too many hymns. Yeah. And then the father, he got fired.
Some bad luck in that family there.
Yeah, well, he got caught Amazing Grace. All right, ba-da-boom. Where do I hear the
we need to get we need a win
What the hell am I doing anyways? I don't understand this. Where'd this come from? Oh, my goodness. You want to get on a subject? And you got to have a little humor, and I'm sure you're out there saying, that's about as little humor as you can get. Let me give you a little quote here. And by the way, call the show, 573-578-2700. Chester, how are we sounding? All right, give us a little phone call, and you can comment on where are we?
We are on Facebook, Twitter, and then also on the website, and then comment any of those places.
How about Spreaker? Are we there today?
Yeah, that's what powers the website.
Okay, Great. All right, so, it's on a bunch of different things, and this show is a podcast. So, you can go there anytime and on where and get this show.
So you can go through iTunes, or not iTunes, but iHeartRadio, I forget some of the names, Spotify, any of them that host podcasts, we're on there.
Podcast hosting site.
Yep.
I want you to memorize these next week, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. So let me just give you a quote here. If a political party doesn't have its foundation in the determination to advance a cause that is right and that is moral, then it's not a political party. It is merely a conspiracy to seize power. President Dwight David Eisenhower, March 6, 1956. Wow. Wonder which party. Well, I don't know if the Democrats were like that in 1956. They were nothing like they are now. I can guarantee you that. So here we go. That's Chester, I bet. I'm not even looking at my phone. Hi there. Welcome, Chester, to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What is your report?
Well, you're coming in loud and clear on Spreaker.
Good.
That's what I'm streaming you on.
All right, I appreciate that.
Interesting thing about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
All of the media, with Thanksgiving, all the media has been running these big stories about, comparing it to the 1918 virus.
Uh-huh.
Well, remember, when we originally were saying that this is like the flu, like the 1918 flu,
uh-huh.
And then all the panic that, no, this is something much worse, much different. Well, now everybody's comparing it to the 1918 flu again. But what's more fascinating is that they keep using the 1918 flu example because what happened was everybody got together to celebrate the end of the war, and so they didn't do, and all of a sudden that's when the spikes supposedly came up. And so what we need to do is we need to do the opposite of that, and they keep using this as justification. In the very same articles, though, if you read any of them, that they just have one in the Rolla Daily News. They have on on Fox News. Everywhere, everybody's running these stupid things. If you read them, they all say though that at the time, they were even trying vaccines at the time. They already had vaccines. Of course, they didn't work because nobody understood what viruses really were back then. They were thinking they were bacterial. Well. So none of this really works. The virus ran its course.
Yeah.
And everybody, today, you've got two camps here. The one camp keeps saying, well, we need to shut everything down and that'll prevent it from everything. It's like, no, actually all you're doing is you're delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, it hasn't worked.
Eventually,
let's put it that way.
It's going to run through the population.
Hasn't worked. Yeah, you need human immunity. Isn't that what stopped the flu in the 2020 or so?
Well, no, nothing ever stops the flu. The flu comes back every year.
I'm talking about
most people
the flu.
survive it.
Yeah, and I'm saying that, and most people are immune to it afterwards, aren't they?
No, they're not,
Oh,
because
all
it
right.
keeps mutating.
Okay.
There's always a new flu version.
All right.
Just like they're already telling you, by the way, once you get the vaccine, we don't know that the vaccine is going to actually work, because they've already told us that people who have gotten the COVID and have recovered from COVID are still susceptible to getting COVID again.
Yeah.
If that is true, and I don't know if it is, because all I'm listening to is what the news media is telling me, and you know that they're lying all the time.
No.
But if they're telling me the truth, then that means the vaccine is going to be useless.
That's kind of interesting.
Food for thought.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Now, the good part is that the vast majority of the population is recovering from it.
Yeah.
Actually, the vast majority of the population doesn't even get symptoms. That's the thing. They detect it in you when they test it. And that's what all the screaming numbers are. The screaming numbers are the number of positive tests.
Right.
Not the number of people hospitalized. If you notice, they used to tell us how many went in the hospital. Now they don't tell us that. And they're not telling us how many deaths, except once in a while they like to just toss that number out there to make it sound bad. But the number of deaths, of course, every news story you will read will tell you that the number of deaths continue to rise.
Yeah.
Well, by definition, they have to only keep rising. They can't go down, because you're totaling up the total number of people.
And
who
here's
died.
the other issue about that. What are these people really dying of? It's been shown by CDC numbers that only 6% of the people are actually dying from only COVID. All right, and that's 6% of 250,000. That's only 15,000. Nobody should die, but come on.
COVID that kills you, or that the COVID breaks your body down to where then you die of other things.
They don't know it. It's not scientific.
You can believe that if you want. I don't.
I don't believe it either.
I think the other way around.
Right. Well, we agree on something. Thank goodness.
We all
right. Now, before we start to disagree and get nasty with each other like we have.
Why would we do that?
I don't know. It just happens. Anyways, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And hi to Martha. And
we had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and the duck was delicious.
You had duck?
Yep.
Why duck instead of turkey? Because there's only two of you?
You know how big turkeys are?
Yes, I do. Yes, thank you.
You know how small ducks are?
Okay. I said, I agree. All right. But it's not traditional. What's the matter with you? You should be American and traditional. Get a baby turkey. No, that would be cruel. Anyways, you have a great weekend.
Baby turkey. Those are called eggs.
I have eaten. Somebody brought me a young turkey. Let's put it that way. It was delicious. Okay. Did you? Oh my God! What is veal? Anyways, what is veal?
Veal. Yeah.
You never eaten veal? You from Chicago? You never eaten veal? Give me a break. Play the Sicilian moment for him, for God's sakes. Let him know where he came from. All right, this is just sad.
Are we done?
You listen to this. Don't forget about
it. An edge is something to stay near, not go over.
You see, that's something in Chicago. You know, if you're on the edge of the L. The train there in Chicago, you want to watch who's behind you. This is happening in New York, too. They're on the edge. You're getting on the train. Somebody gives them a little push, they're dead. You don't want to forget about that, okay? You got to remember, this is your safety moment, other than the COVID moment, here on the Dave Weinbaum Show. Thank you, Chester. Have a great weekend. Hi to Martha.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. See, he doesn't argue or anything. He just says bye-bye. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. He's a smart guy. Very nice people. We got a lot of great guests and great callers. Anything from Facebook? You can comment on Facebook, by the way, or bring up questions. And if I can get to them, I will call them out.
Yep.
Anything?
No comments other than saying that we sound good. But other than that, nothing.
Well, what do you think about the upcoming interview with the mayor? I don't know. This is going to be live. Yep. Isn't that going to be interesting?
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I hope he remembers, because I don't have his phone number. So, but I'm used to that. I'm used to being stood up. No, I'm not. Anyways, we've got a lot of things to talk about here, and I don't need every moment. I do not need somebody to talk with about it. General Flynn, pardoned by Trump. This was also Sidney Powell's claim to fame, is representing Flint, and Sullivan is still out there having tried to destroy this man's life as if the FBI didn't already do it. I think the guy, I wonder, and I'm going to try to remember to ask Elad that. Maybe you can remind me if I don't have it written down. Does he have any grounds to sue the government for false arrest and for threatening him, for putting him in a position to where they were threatening his son, and he had to plead guilty to charges that were manufactured? This has been proven that they were going to drop this case, and Peter Strzok reenacted it just to get to Trump. Okay, I don't know. I would take calls on that too. Well, I'll take calls on anything. I'm not that fussy. Anyway, there's a poll out that 98.9% don't want Trump to concede. Now, this is Newsmax, and I'm sure most of their viewership is conservative. I know I just started them, and I think Facebook has been taking a big dip. Not Facebook, but them too. Fox News, or as we call it, Fix News. That idiot calling Arizona early like that, and them in denial that they have any evidence at all. Well, they got evidence now, you jerks. How are they supposed to produce evidence if this thing just happens? You know how long it takes to produce evidence in a case?
Especially to prove fraud. Eli's talked about that.
It's hard to prove fraud, okay? But actually getting people... this thing just started on November 4th when they had information. So people were expecting that they should have had this evidence on November 2nd somehow. It's not magic, folks. It has to happen first, and then you got to find it. You have to suspect it first, but there were a lot of things that came under suspicion. So I think that in answer to this, that we play another bit, because we got Elad calling in a couple minutes. Go ahead, I'll give you your choice.
Oh, I get to choose this one?
I get to choose it.
Oh, well, this one is at least a little bit lengthier, too, and it's fun, so we'll do this one.
Okay, let's do it.
The new Amazon Echo has everyone asking Alexa for help.
Alyssa, what time is it? What the hell is wrong with this blasted thing? Amanda!
But the latest technology isn't always easy to use for people of a certain age.
These kids have bought me a busted machine again. Odessa!
That's why Amazon partnered with AARP to present the new Amazon Echo Silver, the only smart speaker device designed specifically to be used by the greatest generation. It's super loud and responds to any name even remotely close to Alexa, so they can find out the weather.
Allegra, what is the weather outside?
It is 74 degrees and sunny.
Huh?
It is 74 degrees and sunny.
Where?
Outside.
What about it?
The temperature outside is 74 degrees and sunny.
I don't know about that.
The latest in sports.
Clarissa, how many did old Satchel strike out last night?
Satchel Paige died in 1982.
How many you get?
Satchel Paige is dead.
He what now?
Died.
Who did?
Satchel Paige.
I don't know about that.
If you don't think that kind of stuff is funny, I think you ought to go see somebody, it's so funny. And that's Saturday Night Live. They hate conservatives. But it's occasionally they come up with, when they focus on comedy, they come up with...
another one they did was Trump Dog, and that one's pretty funny, too.
Oh, my God, yeah. We don't have time to... We'll do it later in the show. Do we have that?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll do that later in the show if I can remember. Remind me, all right? Try to squeeze it in somewhere. And ladies and gentlemen, do we play the song first, or do I? No, play the song. All right, hit it. Does it say Amy Cooper on the phone? No? Oh, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, Powerhouse, South Florida lawyer expert on law and politics, pundit for the Washington Examiner, Daily Caller, and the Federalist, and the Perry Mason to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome all the way from Boca Raton, Florida, Elad Hakeem. There you go. Happy Thanksgiving, Turkey. Happy Thanksgiving, Elad. How are you?
Thank you. Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Great. You and the kids had fun. Did you all gather? Did you have a big gathering there?
We had our family, so big enough.
Big enough. All right. I don't want to get you in trouble. No, I don't want to get you in trouble. That's for sure. So, did you know that as of Tuesday night, you could bet on Trump overtaking the election of Biden at a 30-1 odds?
I think I saw. I read somewhere that Nevada isn't betting against Trump, right? They're still
really.
They're still not.
Well, that's amazing. This was in an English betting deal. Hey, Sidney Powell sues Georgia, and it's official that as a lawyer, what kind of case does she have? Now, let me mention something. I took your link. I got the link from you on Twitter. Or did I get it on Twitter or Facebook?
I think I sent it to you via Facebook.
Okay, Facebook. So I went on Twitter to put it in there. I did a whole spiel on that, and Twitter censored it. Did you know that?
I think they are. Aren't they giving it with some sort of warning label or something like that?
Well, that's how they censor things. Try again. They say we couldn't get this to try again. That's BS for F you, brother. We ain't putting this on our site. Okay, that's what that is. I know it. I know. I've seen things like that. In fact, the New York Post thing was exactly that. When I tried to publish that, the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's computer and all the graft and all the corruption that proved could not go on Twitter. Same thing happened with this Sidney. It's a lawsuit. It's in the public domain, isn't it?
In the public record, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think of the suit as you read it? I'm sure you've read the whole thing, right?
I did. I read the lawsuit in Georgia. I did not read the lawsuit in Michigan, although I think it's pretty similar. Listen, she makes very, very serious allegations, very serious charges. I thought that it was interesting that she set forth, the standard that of what they have to show. It's a preponderance of the evidence, and it's a civil suit. And listen, if she can prove some or all of these allegations, then it could make some pretty good leeway. The thing is with Powell's suit, it's going to take time because it's a massive lawsuit, and so I think it's just going to take time, and I think that was part of the reason why there was that breakup between the two kind of legal teams, because there's just not enough time necessarily to go through her suit by the time the president needs it, as far as the election is concerned. There might be, but it's doubtful. It's a massive lawsuit. It's 104 pages. So
it's the preponderance of the evidence versus whether it's
beyond a reasonable doubt.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, thanks. I knew I would
find that somewhere. It's not a criminal case.
Right.
It's a civil case.
Yeah. So what happens? What happens? This thing goes out till a couple of months, and Trump said he's going to concede if they have a what do you call it? An approval or a clarification or what do you call it?
Certification
of Biden.
Yeah.
He says he's gonna give it up. What happens then? If this thing is
certification. Remember, certification is one avenue, but Congress still has to approve it.
Yeah.
So if the various states certify, and Biden, the electorates come, and the Congress votes. It'll be interesting to see what comes out by then. We still have a little bit of time. I think they're supposed to do it on the 14th of December.
Right.
So let's sit put, but let's sit tight. But I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but I don't think that if Biden is inaugurated on the 20th or whatever date it is, that any subsequent finding could disqualify him from the presidency. It could form the basis of an impeachment inquiry, which again, you can't emphasize enough how important the Senate race is now. But I don't know if they can kind of go back and forget about the election. I don't think they can do that. But
it's going to be unprecedented what'll happen. And what are the chances of this what are the chances of this court passing on this and sending it directly to the Supreme Court?
Which court?
The court that's hearing this in Georgia.
You mean the 11th Circuit?
Yeah.
I don't know which. Look, the courts are the courts aren't gonna bypass this. The court. There are multiple suits going on now. But for example, in Georgia, Lynn Wood has a case. He appeals it to the 11th Circuit. That's separate and apart from the Trump team. If the 11th Circuit, they already agreed to hear it. Yeah. And if depending on what happens, then they can appeal it to the Supreme Court, whoever the losing party is. But eventually, listen, Dave, the goal of this is eventually to reach the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's what
and they just have to follow the proper procedures in the various states. And Giuliani talked about it. They have pending suits in Georgia. They have pending suits in Michigan. They have pending suits in Wisconsin, I think.
Somebody mentioned that
suits
that
this is eventually to hopefully consolidate them to bring one big suit.
Right, and somebody mentioned that these suits were, I think it was Alex Jones, InfoWars, that these suits were coordinated to be in these circuit courts that were conservative judges so that they would unify and send this all up to the Supreme Court. That's why I asked that question, which I think is the way to go, don't you?
Well, if you're going to go in front of conservative judges, then the hope is that they don't rule against you, so there'd be no need to go to the Supreme Court. But if they rule in your favor, you're not going to appeal to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the goal is, you try to bring it in federal court. For example, the 11th Circuit tends to be a little bit more conservative, with the hopes that eventually, if you don't prevail, then you have enough cases nationwide in various swing states to bring to the Supreme Court. So that's the goal. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, keep in mind, the Supreme Court has to decide whether or not to accept it. And that's going to be, if there's enough proof of fraud nationwide or, within the swing states, I don't know how the Supreme Court can reject it. I just hope that no one has cold feet, so to speak. I can't see the Supreme Court having that.
If they can prove with the preponderance of evidence that these elections, they have the votes that either should be disqualified or were changed from Trump to Biden, and would definitely have changed the election. And it happens after the 14th of December, and these guys have already made their judgment on the certification. Where are we at? This is unprecedented territory, aren't we? Does it go to Congress? Does it go to Congress?
And I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, and that kind of gets to part of the issue of what exactly is the remedy. Even if the Supreme Court takes the case, what is the remedy? Is the court going to just order a revote of the contested states? Is the court going to throw out a certain number of ballots? Is the court just going to kick it to Congress and say, you know what? You decide. It's obviously a contested election. You decide. In which case, Congress would Potentially.
Would they vote for the electors? Because if they do, Trump wins.
They'd have to decide what to do with the electoral votes.
Yeah.
Whether to approve them or not.
If they vote by Congress, Trump wins.
It would create a whole to do.
If they vote by Congress, would you agree? Trump wins. 37 of the states have majority Republican leadership. You get one vote per state. So
I think that if it eventually gets to that point where you look at the members of the House for each particular state, and again, we're far away from that right now, but if it gets to that point, I think that Trump would likely win because I think that they have to vote based on party line. I don't think they have a choice. So if you have if there are 37 or whatever number it is, then I think they have to vote for the Republican for their party. Unlike these electors that sometimes you have these what are they called wandering? I don't remember the term for it. But it happened in 4 years ago, where some of the electorates from each state, there were like 7 or 8 of them where they were supposed to vote for Hillary, but they didn't.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if it gets to that point, I think Trump has a good chance. But we're not there right now.
All right, I want to play you a few clips. I want you to listen to this and respond. Hit it.
They have 2 or 3 legal constitutional paths. For example, in Pennsylvania, they have 2 very strong legal arguments. One, that the courts changed what the legislature did about counting ballots after the end of Election Day. That's a winning issue in the Supreme Court. I don't necessarily support it, but it's a winning issue in the Supreme Court. And Justice Alito has already hinted that's a winning issue. They also have a winning issue in the Supreme Court on equal protection, that some counties allowed flawed ballots to be cured while others didn't. Bush versus Gore suggests that an equal protection argument can prevail. The problem with that argument is they don't have the numbers necessarily to support it. If it's right that Biden's ahead by some 70 or 80,000 votes, they have to show enough contested votes under those 2 legal theories to change the outcome. The other legal theory they have, which is a potentially strong one, is that the computers, either fraudulently or by glitches, changed hundreds of thousands of votes. There are enough votes to make a difference, but I haven't seen the evidence to support that. So in one case, they don't have the numbers. In another case, they don't seem yet to have the evidence. Maybe they do, I haven't seen it. But the legal theory is there to support them if they have the numbers and they have the evidence.
This has to do with Smartmatic election software. They say, number 1, observers prevented them from seeing the ballots. Number 2, there's an inconsistent laws of curing ballots. Number 3, the in-person voters told that they voted already, and officials told not to look for defects and to backdate ballots before November 3rd. Also, in terms of the computers and the software, Smartmatic election software was developed, Sidney Powell says, in Venezuela with porous security and built-in functionality, allowing the administrators to override security features.
That was your colleague, Alan Dershowitz, along with Maria Bartiromo.
Right.
So what do you think?
Well, I agree with him in part. Well, I agree with what he says. I think that equal protection is strong in Pennsylvania. I think everyone knows that the Supreme Court overstepped its boundaries because it acted in the place of the state legislature. The other thing is, though, that he didn't account for some of the other arguments that were made. For example, Giuliani recently indicated that there were 207,000. There was a discrepancy between the number of mail-in ballots and the number of voters. I can't remember the exact argument, but there are additional arguments and additional reasons which would amount to additional ballots in Pennsylvania that could be thrown out. So it wasn't only based on the equal protection argument where different standards were held for different people, but there were additional arguments which would bring in additional ballots. So yes, I think he's right. You do have to show that your arguments would bring in enough contested ballots where it would make a difference. But I don't think that he included all the potential arguments that they were making in Pennsylvania.
What are they are suing right now in Pennsylvania? Is that correct? Also Michigan?
They are suing in Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, a court, don't remember if it was, I think in Pennsylvania, a court ruled that they had to hold off on certifying certain parts of the state.
Right.
And I think there may be a hearing today, actually, on that. I think it was the conservative judge said, hold on, you can't certify, I want to hear evidence.
All right,
that's going to happen today.
I got about 3 more minutes that I can do. I got the mayor of Rolla, Missouri coming on, so I got to make sure he's calling in.
Don't hold the mayor.
Oh, yeah. We had a big deal going on last Monday. Anyways, this Federalist article that you posted last night, how did, and there's a lot of questions it brings up that are circumstantial evidence. How did 79-year-old Sleepy Joe Hayden Biden get about, 20 million more votes than Hillary, and even much more votes than very popular Obama in 2012, and various other things that indicate circumstantially that this couldn't have happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, listen, Dave, none of us were born yesterday. I mean, some of us might. Some of your listeners might have been.
Well, yeah.
We weren't.
Not my listeners. They're a little more sophisticated than being one day old.
No, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
But the bottom
Thanks for
the
that.
bottom line is this. There's virtually no way that Biden won this election.
Yeah.
The numbers just don't add up. Whether it's the different cities that he lost, whether it's the fact that he underperformed Hillary.
You know how I know this? I'm going to tell you. Let me interrupt you. You know why I know this? It's because I went on Google and tried to find the numbers to compare them, and then I couldn't get it there, and I went on Bing. They know that these numbers are unbelievable. So it's being censored by Microsoft, and it's being censored by Google. You can't find this stuff. All right? You can't find how many votes. I did find them originally, but now they're gone because I'm trying to look for the current vote count in this race. And it's last I heard it was like 81 million or so for Biden and about 74 million for Trump. That's unheard of numbers.
And Trump got 10 million more votes than he got 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And Biden got more votes than any other candidate in history.
Yeah, by far, not just not close.
Fill a high school gymnasium.
It's not believable. It's not provable that this happened. Okay, it couldn't have happened. We don't have enough people that vote. Anyways,
you need a judge. You need a judge that'll step up to the plate. You do. You need a judge to have some guts and to step up to the plate and be willing to take the backlash that'll come with making a decision in Trump's favor here.
All right, my friend.
I know you have to go, but keep an eye on Nevada. The judge is allowing them to introduce evidence. They have a chance to depose up to 15 witnesses. So stay tuned on that because that's going to be interesting.
This is all fascinating. So your judgment, what happens? Is Biden our next president, or does it stay with Trump?
I think the odds are in Biden's favor.
Of course,
but I'll tell you, I think it's going to stay with Trump.
Yeah, well, here, I'm hoping, and so is
really
my audience.
do.
I know
I'm
they
hoping,
are. Audience, raise your hands. Come on. Audience, even you guys in Branson, raise your hands. Does Trump stay, or do we have Biden, or Obama 3? Raise your hand. All right, thank you very much. I got the count, and it's overwhelmingly for Trump. All right. Anyways, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and hire you?
Find me at Thoughtfully Conservative on Facebook, at Thoughtful GOP on Twitter, and just look me up, Elad Hakeem, if you have any legal questions.
Elad, I was fired from my job at a hardware store. They found out I had too many loose screws. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank and go see Elad. Hire him. He's good. Anyways, Shabbat Shalom, my friend. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you can sell people a lot of toys for Christmas. So, anyways,
amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom
to everybody. And
all right.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thank you. You too. Okay, that was pretty
Bye.
good, I thought. All right, get off my phone. I don't want to compliment you. You're going to hold that against me. Get off my phone. Anyways, we got the mayor coming on next, right? He's not here yet, though. Oh, there he is. I think that's him. All right, let me find his thingy. Hello, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. I think I know who this is, but what's your name and where are you calling from?
Morning, Dave. This is Lou Magnitz, and I'm calling you from Rolla. I'm calling you, I guess, in capacity of being mayor today.
Oh, cool. Well, whatever capacity, I'm grateful for you calling me. I didn't get a background on you, but I do know this about that you were born, I believe, in New Jersey, grew up in New Jersey. You've had a long career in business, and a man who was, this I know, a man who was so eager to get his food in the drive-thru, he almost ran over some poor old guy trying to direct the traffic at McDonald's. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a true story.
God.
Although I'm actually from Pennsylvania, where Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey meet, right in that corner up there. And my wife was from the New York side and moved here 30 years ago.
So, how was your Thanksgiving, Mayor?
Other than a few unpleasant emails, I'd say pretty good. And like a lot of us, we have concerns out there in the world, but we all, if we want to be honest with ourselves, we all have something to be thankful for.
That's true. Hey, as most of us know in Rolla, but we're talking to the whole world now. The city council passed a fairly controversial mandate on businesses and churches and other places of worship. The Supreme Court just reversed this, which was an edict from the state of New York, as unconstitutional regarding churches and synagogues. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that is certainly a new development. When you look at our ordinance, I think there's as much misunderstanding and misinformation as there is, correct information. In general, we have not shut down anything. There's no business or activity that can't be conducted. Restaurants have no capacity limits. There's no barriers required. We just require no more than 8 at a table and 6 feet between tables. And of course, mask when you're out and about in the public. One of the things that has gotten a lot of consternation was the impact on businesses and the quote unquote fine a business can get. I assure you, the Rolla City Police are not going to dress up like secret shoppers and go around town looking to give tickets. And the hope is that we will never give a single ticket. The business community, interestingly enough, I think is getting on board rather quickly. There are a few ones that are restrictive, but I think for the most part, people are gonna settle in with this. The business technically could get a citation. And I say technically because we're not expecting the business to be held accountable for the acts of an individual. We are not expecting the business owner or a teenage clerk or manager to get into an argument with a customer that doesn't want to wear a mask. What we've put in place is if the businesses takes a series of some basic steps, post a mask on the front door, put some hand sanitizers in there, maybe some markings on the floor for 6 feet and things like that. There's some pretty basic things to bring awareness to the issue. Then they've fulfilled that requirement as to doing their part and would not be fined. So as I said, I don't, honestly, unless there's a business out there that's just really wanting to be blatant, I don't see that being a problem. Back to the point that you made regarding the churches. The churches are in, and it's common with a lot of these ordinances, anything that has group gatherings are put in what they call enhanced risk activities. So these are not just church events. They're funerals, they're weddings, they're Halloween parties, they're all sorts of group gatherings. And the healthcare professionals really want to zero in on that because, quite frankly, your exposure in those events is probably far greater than passing somebody briefly in an aisle at Walmart or Price Chopper or something like that. So what's in that section there is a capacity limitation of about 25%, I think is the number, and social distancing within that. I met with 18 ministers, preachers, and pastors last week to go over it. They've asked for some accommodations, such as when somebody's at the pulpit, do they have to wear the mask? And we said, no, because you've got a pretty good distance between them and the first pew, for instance. Some of the churches do a lot more singing than others, so we've expanded the distances between the individuals more than 6 feet in exchange for not wearing a mask. And most of the churches in Rolla have already been doing some sort of spreading the parishioners out up until now anyway. So, but go back to your point on the issue with the Supreme Court. Yeah, that could grow some legs, and that may have to be reviewed.
It's the Constitution you're fighting here. Anyways, let me go on to something else. Americans, they just, I don't know if you got the sense of this listening to all those people, but, logic or not, Americans just don't like to be ordered around.
I'm in that category, Dave. I don't like everybody telling me what to do,
they
when to do, and how
will
to do.
weigh in on advice and mostly go along as long as it's not penalized. Churches and now, non-drive-through restaurants have different situations. Now, I don't know about your restrictions. I thought you did have a number restriction, seat-wise and square foot-wise with restaurants. Do you not?
We dropped the capacity limit. So
Okay.
the only restriction now is 8 at a table. They could be unrelated parties. 6 foot between tables.
Okay,
you
that's
do not
great.
have to have
That's
the barriers.
great.
There's no
Because you
capacity.
probably saved
on the
a bunch of
restaurants. And that
restaurants.
was important to them. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a discussion point, and they wanted to be able to do business.
Now, here's another thing. You're giving me a lot of good information here, and I watched that meeting very closely. I consider myself an aficionado on meetings because I ran so damn many of them over 35 years in McDonald's. And this is up in corporation as well. And I compliment you on your efficiency. The open forum you held Monday night meeting. I mean, it was a 2-minute. There was a lot of people there. 50 or so people that had 2 minutes each.
51 speakers.
And you offered me a spot, and I turned you down because I really wanted to watch how this was handled. There are a lot of people, both inside and outside, who were able to opine, and I compliment you on that. The one opinion I wanted during this hearing was from you. I wanted what the leader of this town, and I consider you the leader, the mayor, the top guy. I wanted to know your opinion of the mandate.
Kind of funny. Nobody ever asked me, right?
Well, I would have. I want to know.
Nobody
I mean,
ever.
I know
Well,
that.
yeah, and that's a really good point. And
Thanks.
I'm going to take my mayor hat off just for a
Good,
second
great.
to speak as an individual. So my own personal opinion has evolved as well over time. When the risk was low, I acted one way, and now that the risk is a bit higher, I act slightly differently. In most of the summer, I limited my trips outside the home. I stopped eating in restaurants, and I only occasionally wore a face mask. And kind of as the numbers increased, then my own practices tightened up probably just a little bit from those points. And, like everyone else, every day we're inundated with studies and data and experts trying to be on TV. And to the average person like me, Dave, I find this all contradictory. I think it's contradictory because of politics, the national news industry that's a joke, and the fact that scientists and doctors have had to learn an awful lot in these ensuing months, and sometimes you just get some contradictory information as people learn. So in the end, in the last week, I settled down on only 2 facts. One, our local healthcare providers, the capability of managing sick people at our hospital, whether it's COVID or not, do they or do they not have the capacity? That was important for me. And then the second point was just limiting the gatherings, making some lifestyle changes. I don't find those to be personally overbearing, and will probably be for a few months and not years. So in the end, I temporarily set aside my libertarian beliefs and just said, okay, for the good of myself, family, and community, I can do this for a couple of months. And that's where I settled on it. I personally do not want to get into debates with people on the studies, because every study you can find one that's contradictory. But the only thing that matters is, do you or do you not have a bed of Phelps Health to treat the people? And that's it. That's it.
Well, that's a very good point, and that's how this started. The original lockdown was 15 days to make sure that we had enough beds, mainly in the New York area, but other places on the West Coast too. And the original lockdown, I think everybody kind of accepted that as an emergency. And I realize that our healthcare workers, this is a legitimate complaint, a legitimate thing. It's happening. I know it's happening in St. Louis. My doctor in St. Louis, connected to St. Luke's, he was telling me a couple of weeks ago when I went in for an examination that this was the main problem: is the health workers were getting sick, and they were burning out. So, but the question is, what do you do about it? I mean,
let's not. See, I don't think any of us can be naive. Whether it's our ordinance or wearing masks in general, this is not going to stop the virus. That's folly to think that. All it's going to do, go back to early in the year when everybody talked about flattening the curve. X amount of millions of people are going to get this regardless. All you're hoping to do is that a whole bunch of people don't get it at the same time. That's what this is about. So you can sit there and have all the debates on the world, whether the mask is effective, it's not effective, it's going to stop the virus. I don't know, and I don't care.
Well, let me ask you another question.
All I want to do is slow the transmission rate in Rolla, Missouri.
What are your thoughts on school shutdowns?
I do not think, under any circumstance, you should shut schools down.
We agree on that. I think our youth are getting cheated out of their lives right now.
We're damaging them. It's the social interaction, it's the education. These kids are going to be behind. But let me tell you the challenge it takes on the rest of the family. I'll use one of my grandchildren as an example. Daughter and son-in-law work. They both have very demanding jobs. All of a sudden, school says, "Nah, I think we're going to have these kids stay at home."
Yeah.
All right. Who's going to take care of them? Does my son-in-law or my daughter have to quit their job because there's obviously no health, child care that's within reach to do these? So it's tough. It's very, very tough with people with school-age children. And then when they are home, okay, how many people have a laptop? How many people have a good internet connection? How many people are good enough teachers, right? You got a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old that are right in that period of time when they're learning to read and those kind of skills. Most parents are not good teachers. So I think the schools have to be open.
I would agree. Hey, Mayor Magnitz, other than, this show, if people can tune in, it's a podcast, it goes all over the world.
Okay.
I wanted to. I don't usually do local stuff. I don't want to get that, but I wanted to do this because it's reflective of everywhere in the world right now. What's going on here?
Yeah, it is.
So, how can people reach out to you or John Butts at the council and the council?
On the city's website, there are email addresses. Feel free to email us or pick up the phone and call. We try to respond to each and every one of those inquiries. When we get hundreds at a time, it takes a little while for us to get through them, but we do generally respond. So reach out.
And
let's not forget one thing, Dan.
Yeah.
You talk about the podcast all around the world.
Yeah.
Think of how many places in the world that what happened Monday could not happen. The fact that anybody could come up and speak to their local governing officials.
I would agree with that.
We live in a damn good country.
I think that is great. The more input you get and the more public input you get, the better off you are, the better off the population is. And I'm just asking, I'm going to reiterate, is I want your opinion. I really do. I want to know what you think, all right? And tell it to the public. What the hell you got to lose?
I got nothing to lose. I'm a big boy.
I know you are. I know. Hey, so let me just say this: if this segment clips, we could rename it. And I'm thinking, what, the Morning Mayor Show?
Well, that's probably trademarked already. But,
okay.
We could figure something else out for you.
Oh, wait, I got Mike Thompson on the other line. Oh, I got a problem now. All right, Mayor Magnets, thank you so much for being a guest on the Dave Weinbaum Show, and I thought it went very well. How about you?
All right, you take care. Thank you for having
thanks.
me. Bye-bye.
All right, well, it was pretty good. I'm saying it's pretty good. I don't think he liked it. He didn't.
Yeah, I think
he liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't he? I don't know.
And
I'd like to know what everybody else thought. Call the show. I mean, you got. I bet you a lot of people listen to that segment. 573-578-2700. Lisa's blowing her nose right now instead of looking on Facebook for any input at all. You can put input on Facebook, my Facebook show page, the Dave Weinbaum show page, and or I don't know, Twitter. No, do it on the Twitter. I'm not going to get that right away.
Yeah, well, we use Periscope for that, so you can still leave comments.
Well, you have comments?
That. Yep. Well, I don't have any, but you can leave them that way. Yep.
All right. Well, I know you're all drunk from food ingestion yesterday, but it is 10:35. You'd think you'd be okay with that, and I've got a 10:40 coming up. That would be one Laura the Illuminator Loomer. We need to play a bit now. I don't know. You want to do the Trump dog? Yeah. I think we'd do that one. If somebody else calls, I won't say who it is, but he lives in Edgar Springs, Martin. And I'll play the other bit for him. I've done that. I've waited for him for 3 weeks. And last week he came through drive-thru. I told him I'm going to I told him to charge him double for his Big Macs, because he didn't do his job. He didn't call the show. How about that? Go ahead. You ready? Yep. Go ahead. Hit it. I'm just babbling, trying to stall.
What has never been done. Scan the household pet's mind to translate his thoughts into words. Now, the subject today will be my own dog, Max. Max, speak.
Woof, woof, woof. Hi, I'm Max. It's me, Max. I like Park and Leash, and I like Trump. He's my man. Donald Trump is our president. He carried the Electoral College fair and square.
This can't be right. Did you know your dog likes Trump?
He doesn't.
I absolutely do. I know Trump has issues, but one big change is better than business as usual. The Dow was up 2,700 points since he was elected. What's not to like?
I'm sorry, but you're just a dog. You don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me, Helen, but yes, I do. Stinking helmet. I can't believe you put this on me.
I can't believe you're saying this. You're supposed to be my best friend.
And as your friend, I don't want to see your tax dollars going to health care for illegals.
Explode. What about his record on women's rights? Don't you want me to have a choice over my own body?
You didn't afford me a choice when you cut off my balls.
Speaking of the devil, my goodness. All right, play the other one, too, because he's here now. You heard that, didn't you? You heard that.
Yes, I did.
This is Martin from Edgar Springs. We have a special thing for him because he hates it. He hates it, and I'd love to rub it in. Hit it. Yeah, that's it.
From Weinbaum Records, it's Dave's Hits of 2017.
Sing along!
Listen to the unique singing style of your favorite radio host, Dave Weinbaum, as he belts out songs like...
But Snowflake, you know you can't take it. You've got that hateful feeling. Everybody. Whoa, come on, do a little, can't hear you. Feeling. Come on, Branson, you like country music. As you wish me hell to everyone you could tell that you've been spying over me. Come on, Martin, sing along. Over me, then you spread your views to the mainstream news. Oops, missed a vote.
Timeless memories like...
You don't know me.
No, that's true.
I'm in the federal witness plan. You don't know me. I might be in Afghanistan.
Dave's Hits of 2017 is not sold in any stores. And if you act fast, you can get Dave's favorite insults absolutely free with your order.
You schmuck. Kiss my favorite part. I hear you tried to donate your brain to science, but they're only taking used ones. I don't take the broom out of your hands when you're trying to do your job. I hear you're 1 foot short of a yard sale. There was a lot of testosterone in my marriage. Too bad none of it was mine. I married a trophy wife, but I couldn't afford to mount her. I had 2 feet of snow on my car, so my wife offered me her broom. I said, thanks, but you're going to have to teach me how to fly it first. Got any complaints? Go to hell and wait.
All right, call me back
year.
in about
Dave's
15
hits of
minutes. I got Laura Loomer on the line, so let's hit it.
15
Thanks.
minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
about 15 minutes. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Is this who I think it is?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great. Hey, let's play your song. Are the champions, my friend. Sing along, Laura. We are the champions. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, conservative investigative reporter voted for by President Trump, Melania, and Rush Limbaugh in her district to represent them in Congress, and the bravest person I know. Please welcome Laura, the Luminator Loomer. There you go. Okay, so how you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I
happy
hope you all
Thanksgiving
had a
to you
good
too.
Thanksgiving.
Did you have it with your dad like you did a couple years ago?
No, I didn't actually. I was just here by myself, but
By
it's
yourself?
okay. I had dinner last night with a friend, and
Yeah.
it was good. I had a nice time.
Okay. I had a link to Sidney Powell's suit against Georgia, and its officials, and it was barred by Twitter. Amazing.
Yeah, I posted
What the hell
about
is
it on
that?
Parler. Look, this is what they do. It's full blown, information warfare now. And if you recall, it's exactly 2 years ago on Thanksgiving that I was banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Though.
This is a federal lawsuit. It's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Not a federal. Well, it might be. I don't know. It's a lawsuit. Anyways, it's for public visuality. And they're censoring that. Wow.
They are.
Oh my goodness. Any hope you can redo your lawsuits? What about the election fraud caused by them and or the people that did bad stuff to you, the local news media? Any repercussion you can have for election fraud?
I'm looking into it. We'll see. I don't know, because the problem is it was just so widespread, and then the issues with Comcast as well. So, but I am exploring my options. I'm looking into it.
I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with you. You're tough. Let's face it. Hey, also, it's it's hard to get a current vote count on the 2020 election for president on Bing or Google. And the reason I believe is because, Biden's got about 81 million votes and Trump has about 74 million. Well, maybe Trump is believable, but certainly Biden is not. I mean,
Right.
Who the hell is believing that Sleepy Joe, a guy that couldn't draw 10 people in a crowd if he had his hair on fire and he was running around naked, who would believe that this guy could draw 20 million more votes?
I don't think anybody really
than
believes it.
Obama.
I don't even think the Democrats deep down inside.
Of course they don't.
really
They know they know. And I'm not hearing lately much about the rhinos. I haven't heard much of them say anything. And when Sidney Powell dreamt her Kraken on the court in Georgia, what do you think of that?
Or Pennsylvania. What happened in Pennsylvania, where they were talking about all the votes being added, and it's just no one wants to talk about it. There's no real news anymore. No one talks about these things.
Do you
Total
watch-
blackout of information.
How about Newsmax and OAN?
Yeah, alternative networks are popping up. That's good, but they're still not as mainstream as these other networks. So while they help, it's not as mainstream yet. So we need to get to a point, just like with Parler, where people get off Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and they get on Parler. Other people need to start, boycotting Fox News and watching a lot of these other alternative networks.
What other suggestions? How about Rumble?
I've heard of Rumble. I'm not yet on Rumble, but I'm going to be checking it out. But I'm on Parler, and I highly recommend Parler to anybody.
Yeah. It's hard to use, though.
They're working on it. I mean, I
Okay.
think it's fine for now, just for posting stuff. I like it.
You should. I read a lot of your stuff. Obviously, I think I did the whole interview based on what you said on Parler, because you're hard to find. Hey, Cuomo got his butt whipped by the Supreme Court when they overruled his edict to close or to monitor churches and synagogues like he was doing. What do you think of that?
Well, look, it's great that Cuomo realizes he can't, in fact, shut down the synagogues. I mean, it's disgusting. It's almost like he's using Hitler's Mein Kampf as a how-to manual. That's what I feel like is happening in this country right now.
You think he's focused on just the Jews?
Such a tyrant.
I mean, is he really focused on the Jews? I mean, is he not doing this to the churches?
It's the Jews and the Christians, and it's so funny because he never mentions the mosques, right? So you got to ask yourself, what about the Muslims?
That's because that's not politically correct. I don't think that's what that is.
So it's politically correct to shut down the synagogues and the churches, but not the mosques.
Apparently. Hey, what's your take from the Supreme Court 5-4 block on the attendance limits?
Thank God for Amy Coney Barrett, and Justice Roberts is a turncoat. I don't know what his problem is, but he's such a problem.
Yeah, but he's been like this.
I don't know what kind of blackmail the Democrats have on that guy, but I mean, really, what a disgrace.
What a useless, you know what? I mean, now he's a liberal all of a sudden, right? And what basis did the court? This is unconstitutional. I mean, we have the right to assemble and worship. Is that not true? Is this not a constitutional right?
We're not living in America anymore, Dave. I mean, you're using too much logic. That's the kind of stuff that gets you thrown in the gulag, is talking and speaking with logic, Dave.
Well, we'll be together. Hopefully they'll take my wife, too. She might not want to come.
You better
listening.
Start picking out your gulag job.
Yeah, no, I don't know. You'll see. She's got a German background, I might be in a gulag of my own choice here. Anyways, reaction to General Flynn, full pardon by Trump.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing. General Flynn's a friend of mine, and I called him the day he was pardoned and had a nice conversation.
What was his reaction?
What?
What was his reaction to being pardoned?
Well, of course, he's thrilled. I mean, look, this man has been absolutely tortured and traumatized for the last 4 years, and it's a beautiful Thanksgiving gift, and I thought it was beautiful that Trump decided to pardon him on Thanksgiving. I mean, it really brought tears to my eyes, and I love the Flynn family. They're some of the greatest people you'll ever meet in your life, and I'm just so happy for them.
Very popular, that what he did. I'm pretty sure it's probably popular amongst some Democrats, too. Roger Stone next. Manafort?
Yeah, well, Roger was granted clemency, but yeah, a full pardon would be nice, right?
Clemency is...
But the reason why the difference between a pardon is, when you accept a pardon, you basically have to admit guilt, right? And so they're basically trying to force these men who are innocent into accepting guilt just to get pardons. And so it's unfortunate, but, we don't have an equal justice system in this country anymore. There's a lot of judicial corruption.
Does Flynn have a lawsuit against the DOJ?
Well, Sidney Powell's his lawyer. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that this judge the case has been on. There was another review for this case for the last 3 months, but they just sit on these cases. There's a lot of judicial corruption, and the judges they play around with it. They play political games.
So, what about Manafort? I don't know. Do you know Manafort too?
No, I never met Paul Manafort.
Well, he's in for tax charges, tax evading.
But but that's the thing, is they put him in for something unrelated to the Trump administration, and then they tried to use it to go after the Trump administration. So,
sure,
it's a separate issue.
So, what do you think how is this quest, this crusade from the Dems to bring us to communism by making us obey unconstitutional edicts? How's that working?
Well, it's working out great for them, not for us. I mean, businesses are suffering. And, I mean, look, I was joking about it yesterday with people because, here you are. It's like they were in California limiting the size of the sale of certain turkeys to make sure that people weren't making turkeys for gatherings larger than, whatever limit. In places like Oregon, you can't have a Thanksgiving dinner with more than 5 people, but crack is now legal. So if you have 20 people in your house smoking crack, you get away with it. But if you have 5 people sitting around praying, eating Thanksgiving dinner, you go to jail.
I know in some places you can get 30 for a funeral. So a guy killed the turkey and had a funeral for him. He had 30 people at his house.
It's so crazy.
It is. It's nuts. Hey, so what does your future look like? Young lady, what are you going to do when you grow up? You're already done. You had a lifetime of stuff
right now, and I'm still processing this whole election and waiting to see how the presidential race plays out, and we'll see. I don't know.
I like that.
I'm processing things right now.
You are contemplating, aren't you?
I dedicated 18 months of my life to this campaign, and to be totally honest and blunt, it feels like I'm having a funeral right now. So I think that's a good thing. I'm grieving,
and you're putting together your learnings from this. I bet.
Yes, and I'm trying to analyze things that I did right, maybe things that weren't right. But I feel like I'm having a funeral right now, and so I've just been, kind of enjoying my solace and literally grieving.
I think that's the way to be, and I think you're going to come back. You're going to do something effective. You're going to do something public, and you're going to be better at it because of your experience and your reaction to the experience of losing, and why you lost, and all that, and what did you do wrong, if anything, and how did you let them get advantage of you? You're going to be a lot better off if you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, personally, and it's not that everybody makes mistakes and does things wrong, and I'm a first-time candidate, and I had time and room to grow. That's not really the issue of what I did wrong. The issue is, it's not fair, and it's a tough pill to swallow, really, truthfully, when you see I got 40% of the vote in a district that Republicans generally don't even ever run a candidate because they feel like it's so democratic. 40% of a vote in a district where I beat the incumbent in person and early voting, where she only was able to overcome with mail-in ballots. 40% of a vote in a district where I was totally denied access to social media and Comcast blocked my emails and my text messages. So that 40%, I can't help but wonder what the percentage really would have actually been if I had been entitled to a free and fair election process like every other candidate was in this nation. I was the only one that wasn't when it came to social media and internet access. So,
any recourse based on that?
I feel like I was cheated, and when you invest so much of your life into something and that happens, it's a little hard to get over.
All right. Well, you were a real long shot to begin with. You were a long shot just to get out of the primary. So
it really wasn't a long shot, though. It was only a D+7, D+9, and I ran my campaign, strategically, and I was always, according to the data, within striking distance. So it really wasn't a long shot. That's what the media wanted to say so that people wouldn't pay attention to it. I really do believe, though, that not having access to social media and Comcast, which is like the major internet service provider here, literally blocking my ability to send emails and text messages to the constituents here is what cost me the election. So, and of course the mail-in ballot fraud, because we all know that that's ridiculous.
Sure. All right. Well, we're going to be looking forward. I personally will be looking forward to what you're going to do in the future. And anytime you want to call and talk, let me know. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you?
Well, you can go to lumerd.com, and in the next few weeks I'll be posting some investigative reports, and that's where you can sign up to receive my email updates as well.
I don't know if where can people find your film? Is there a YouTube on?
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and type in Laura Loomer, and I have my YouTube channel there as well.
I mean, you gotta watch her escapades on Nancy Pelosi's ranch, whatever it was, and her with the illegal aliens, according to you, that you actually had events with them on Nancy Pelosi's property. I mean, that's one of the funniest damn things and really amazing things I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great fun.
You got a real talent for that. And by the way, you're unique, and I wanted to be unique, but you beat me to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Loomer. Thank you, Laura, and very sad that you had to beat me to being unique. You have a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom, my friend. Okay. All right. Oh, my goodness. Where are we? Where did the time go?
It flies by on these days.
I mean, honey, are you having fun yet? Okay, we're going to Branson after this.
I'm so tired.
Oh, no, I'm going to be driving. Like, I'm not tired, right? Okay, we should take one of the dogs with us and have them drive. I don't know. Anyways,
just make sure they wear a mask.
I got 5 minutes to go, so you want to call the show, be a star in the Dave Weinbaum show, huh?
You need Brian.
Brian. What about...
No, Martin. It was Martin. Martin's call back.
Martin,
not
call
Brian,
back.
Martin.
Call back. Is that him?
Call Martin.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. We reached your phone like you pressed something.
No, I was checking to see if he had called in, but not yet.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Martin, give me a call.
Or call him.
You got a couple minutes here, 5 minutes left.
Call him.
So the number is, call Martin. Why not? That's a good idea. Thank you. There you go. All right. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so there's plenty of evidence that Trump won. Not all of it would be acceptable in court, but there's plenty.
It's around.
Yeah, what the hell's the matter with you? I said 50. Well, what did I say? 15 minutes?
Oh, I didn't call you.
Yes, I know.
You called me.
I did, but you didn't call me back. I told you to call me back.
I was listening to the show, waiting for her to finish.
Well, she's done.
I'm sorry.
And you didn't call. Do you not have anything to say?
The end when you called me. According to what I was getting, maybe I get a delayed cast or
All right, let's make this short and happy. What do you got for me?
Well, I just want to say that people seem to be just talking about things as though, 2 years from now, we're going to really make them pay for what happened here if they steal this election. If they steal this election, they will have a man in the White House who will just throw open the doors for all the illegal aliens to come flying across, and they are one good thing. They're good at organizing where these people are going to go, and they're going to send them everywhere. There will not be another Republican elected anywhere because he's going to make them immediately citizens. And with one thing to do, vote Democratic. And when they get enough power, then we won't be voting anymore. So
I think you're right.
Stupid.
I hate to say this because I think you're absolutely right. We have to fight back.
Yes. And the Republican senators act like, we've got control of this now. Are you out of your dang mind? Those people are just like the communists. They are communists. They have the long plan. If they get their man in there, they don't care because they will control this country. They've already showed us what they're willing to do and how they're doing it. It's Venezuela right now.
Okay, I've got something coming up.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I want you to listen to it. And you made me do this because what you're talking about is this.
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah! Where's the spirit? Where's the guts? Huh? This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst. Oh, we're afraid to go with you, Pluto. We might get in trouble. Well, just kick my ass from now on! Not me! I'm not gonna take this! Murmur, he's a dead man! Marmalade, dead! Niedermeyer, dead! Pluto's right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We gotta take these bastards. Now, we could fight them with conventional weapons. That could take years and cost millions of lives. No, in this case, I think we have to go all out. I think this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it. Let's do it.
Let's go! Go! You still there, Martin?
Yes, sir.
Did that reflect what you're saying?
What I was going to tell you is this is so perfect what you played.
Thank you.
Because they're telling us we're stupid.
I know.
We shouldn't be contesting this election. And only idiots go on and sore losers. And they still haven't accepted him for his first victory. We are the stupid. We are the dummies. We are the nerds. And it's time for us to stand up and shove it in their eye.
Shove it in their eye? I never heard that one. Okay.
Well,
yeah, let's shove it in their eye. Come on. It's like the Germans attacking Pearl Harbor. He's on a roll. Leave him alone.
Yeah. And we're just the guys to bomb Pearl Harbor.
There we go.
Like the Japanese did. Or as he put it, the Germans.
The Germans,
but, oh, well, Dave, you have such an important show.
Thank you.
But I want to tell you something.
Tell me something.
Every time I do your drive-through, and I do it more than once a week, it's a testament to the desire and of the capital system and people who do it. And you do it right. And do so many things for this community that are so important that they don't understand. And I'm one of just the many that say thank you.
Well,
thank you for hanging in there, man.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody who does this show, takes the time to call, and who just contacts me on Facebook or whatever. Even the people who want to object. I had the mayor on earlier. I don't know if you heard that.
Yes.
How do you think that went?
I thought it went. Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I think you did a great job. Okay.
All right.
So
I think he did okay too. I thought he did a pretty good job. I don't know. I mean, I didn't hold anything back. I wasn't overly aggressive, but I did throw some stuff in there that I'm sure he wasn't happy about. But what the hell?
Why are they going 2 days with masks? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I
don't know. Nobody knows if they were. Nobody knows. Listen, I'm dictated to do that by McDonald's. So fine, I do it. When McDonald's was hinting at arresting people in my restaurants that didn't wear masks, the customers, I had a hissy fit. And I never did that. And I told my crew to not do that, okay? Can you imagine? And I did have that happen in one of my stores. A gal was threatening a guy to arrest him if he didn't wear a mask. Holy cow, did I put a stop to that. And McDonald's heard from me real quick. My good buddy Cheryl Chumley, she wrote a column about McDonald's on that. Not even connected to me. And I took this column and I sent it up to corporation, and I said, "This is ridiculous. Rescind this ridiculous." First they denied it, and then I showed them the damn interview from CBS Chicago. Yeah, where he said, "Well, I think we ought to probably arrest people that don't." What a dumbass! I mean, I'm sorry, but it was maybe not. He's not a dumbass, but it was a really dumb thing to say. So.
Well, I think you've done a disfavor to asses by comparing them to these idiots. So the asses association is probably going to get in touch with you and say to stop comparing us to them. Don't even put us in the same league with them.
All right. Well, let's stop with the backside comments. And you know what? I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you calling me, and I appreciate what you said about me and my little job as a traffic director at McDonald's.
Oh,
that's my favorite job. I mean, I could do anything at McDonald's, but I love doing it. You know why? I see all the people,
And we interact. It's getting to be really funny out there, you know. I mean, we're doing stand-up comedy. All right, listen, I got to go, my friend. You have a wunderbar weekend, thank you for being a friend to the Dave Weinbaum Show. That's Martin from Edgar Springs. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Acre Springs.
Eger. Is it Eger? That's
Egger.
like the movie Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Eger.
Yeah.
Well, Eger. Yeah.
Oh, the lovely Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Yes, there you go.
Hi, Martin.
She's tired.
I'm
so
just hanging in here.
You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay?
I'm tired. All right. Have a great weekend. We gotta do a new Weinbaum music just for him, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, we can start working on that.
All right, thanks. All right. By the way, this show is the last show of my 11th year. The next show will be the beginning of my 12th year. Who does that at the age of 60? I want to know anybody that started in radio and or the podcast business that's been doing it since 2008, December 3rd, 2008.
And don't forget, you have not been canceled as much as Rush either.
That's right. It has. I've only been canceled twice, but Rush, on the other hand,
9 times.
9 times.
9 times. So I'm way ahead. I'm way ahead. And you know what? I don't have a boss anymore, so I'm not going to cancel myself.
So if I can just make a statement
Yes,
here,
you
this
could.
is to get everybody to realize that this is definitely not over. There is so much evidence out there that I'm going to make this is not the Dave Weinbaum Show prediction. This is JP Maxwell, the personal opinion
you
here.
know what? If we're sued, guess where they're going to sue?
I'm stating it here so that they know.
Go ahead.
When the next presidential inauguration happens, whether it's January 20th or has to be pushed back because of all this, but when the next one happens, it will be President Trump being inaugurated for his second term, not Joe Biden.
Okay.
That's my official prediction.
Give yourself some crickets or applause, maybe both. Okay. There you go. Because you don't know.
Does that work? No, but
nobody knows.
I have a
right.
feeling. I have a feeling.
I hope you're right. This will be. We're headed for an amazing showdown. I thought that after this election, things would die down, but no, they're ramping right up. Isn't that amazing? I mean, the last 11 years have been just incredible in terms of the amount of news there's been. And the amount of stuff that I want to comment on, and I want to watch and see how it's developing. Anyways, you guys have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Remember, it's Black Friday out there. Go spend your money here in Rolla, please. I'm begging you. And you listen to the first edition of my 12th year next Friday, the Dave Weinbaum Show. I'll be here. Lisa will be here, and JP will be here, I hope. And we'll see about that morning mayor deal. I don't know. Maybe
the Friday morning mayor. There you go.
Friday morning mayor. Oh, my God. Anyways, he'd probably want – I don't know what he'd want anyways. But you guys have a great holiday weekend, and I'll be back. Thanks so much for listening.